I'm just gonna start here first and say that Aoife and myself really enjoyed having first row seats in watching the team, the wonderful editorial team, develop the content for this website in the past few months. They have put in so much work. The storytelling is well crafted, and it is quite magic to see it plucked from thin air almost, but also to see that they have kept always in mind the consideration of the regional dynamics of Southeast Asia and how certain themes come up here and there in different countries but also then resonate in different ways. So newNaratif.com. Today, what you're seeing here right now is the desktop-only prototype of the website. This is our crowdfunding page where we will later go through the subscription model. But first, I am really excited to walk you through the actual preview of the website in itself, fully loaded up with content. So here we are. What we have on New Naratif, what we'll be featuring will be journalist-driven stories, will be contributions from researchers, as well as comics, videos, and podcasts. We already, right now, the content that we have developed so far already spans from stories in Singapore, in Malaysia, and all the way to the Philippines. For the time being, maybe we can start. I'm going to walk you through the stories, and we will start with one of our closest neighbors from Malaysia, Penang, and this article, Penang Hokkien and its struggle for survival. It's written by Ko Anchi, who I believe is here in the audience today as well. Hello, hi. Hi. Yeah, I like the story. Okay, cool. So Penang Hokkien and its struggle for survival. Whoa. Okay, cool. This one was a very nice article to start with, actually, because at the core of it, it's really also about language and that tension that happens in the changes in society with that. Anchi starts her story off with a recount about her grandmother, her late grandmother, who only could speak Penang Hokkien, which, as a person who is slightly younger in generation, she found difficulty in communicating with that, right? So, but then, how did her Penang reality get shaped like this? It's pretty much because of far-ranging factors such as migratory patterns from educational policies, as well as educational policies, and also the power dynamics of the so-called big languages between English and Chinese Mandarin, which is something we also in Singapore deal with as well today. But what is interesting about this particular story is that it brings to light how language is truly leveraged, which then brings up the question as well, what do we not know because we don't know what are the stories being told in other tongues. So that is why, as Sunny mentioned earlier on, one of our primary operative priorities is really to get as multilingual as possible, as much as feasible and as fast as possible. So already today, we have a selected content that is already translated in Bahasa Indonesia. So voila, it is translated. Yes. Okay, so speaking of that, let me walk you through as well the research content that we have from the Philippines right now. So this one is contributed by our researcher Sol Iglesias, that's talking about the Duterte playbook. For us, the challenge with dealing with long-form content is that we all have really short attention span these days. We are all used to listicles. Whoa, hi, no. The Duterte playbook. So with the research articles, the challenge, of course, is dealing with the attention span of modern digital experience where we're all much more used to quizzes and listicles. But through our research at our design studio, we have found that there are pockets of the internet that do engage meaningfully and quite lengthily as well. It just really depends on the digital editorial design that is created for them. So what we have here is an article that is very clean and purely typographic, but we also keep in mind that unlike an academic essay where all the footnotes will be kept at the end, we have included them in the side, where in the actual live website it will pop in and out, because footnotes are really important. It is more than just finding out what page it came from, but it really broadens understanding the topic in itself, because then you can find out where that information came from and what the researcher was looking at when they were crafting this, this particular hypothesis or narrative. We also then will be quite particular about the infographics and have clear presentation of data. That we'll keep in mind. Yep. We also, we do recognize as well that there are different kinds of research essays. So for example, with here, a history of Malay Singaporeans in 10 objects. This one by Faris Juraimi is a little bit more media friendly, I would say, because the structure of the essay in itself is a write-up of 10 different objects that kind of give shape what is the understanding of a Singaporean Malay. So in this case, New Naratif is also very open to different formats of academic writing. Yep. Okay, cool. So, I will leave you to browse the content at your own time. There is a computer outside set up as well with that. But if you do go to newnaratif.com, you will find yourself at the preview site very easily. So let me head back into the crowdfunding page in itself, where we can talk a bit about the subscription model. So right now, we have an annual subscription plan that is based on a yearly subscription. It gives you full access, as PJ mentioned, but at the same time, if you wanted to support it, support further, then there are several other options for this right now. At the moment, we are in the final developmental stages of this, so this form is not active yet. However, we also will be having ushers pass out paper forms as well as iPads. Koki and Lisa over there have iPads that we would really be grateful if you would register your interest, and we'll update you as soon as possible when we have cleaned up our PayPal situation so that money is very transparent and accurate. Okay, so returning back to our presentation here, what happens after the crowdfunding phase? We keep in mind again the fact that everybody gets all their information largely from their social media aggregators of Facebook, right? That is practically where I get it. It's not a habit that's going to change very much. So what's going to happen when you are a member of New Naratif is that you can share all the content for free on Facebook. You will be able to share all the content on Facebook to non-members who will then be able to access that content for free. So for example, it will be something like that. And you will see that the article has been gifted to you by that particular friend who is a member of New Naratif. And you'll be able to read everything in full. There will be no wall blocking you in this content in itself. However, when you do want to click onto another piece of information, that is when we would prompt you to sign up as a member as well. But if you have a very generous and diligent friend who wants to share every article on Facebook and on email or on WhatsApp, then maybe you can collude and work something out together. But that's up to you. That's up to you. But we think that this is a pretty fair model to make sure that our content is sustainably produced. Yes. With that, I'm